Hello, everyone. I'm doing great. How about you?
Fantastic. I went walking with dogs this morning and I was listening to one of our podcasts as I was walking with dogs. We went out for about an hour and a half. It's really good. I didn't think it'd be so interesting, but it is. It's fascinating. And you sound really good.
Yeah, it's
Apart from
great,
one,
guys. I am very happy. And right now, I mean, as we were saying, we're everywhere. And yeah, today is a day full of firsts and different things that actually we have to mention. First of all, this is the first day that the official government ban is removed from stay at home here in the United States. So right now you're not actually forced by the government to stay at home. So let's just go. Let's just see what's going to happen, because not everybody wants to leave their home. It is Labor Day in Europe and around the world. Here, Labor Day is not the same thing in the United States. It is 48 days that we have been in quarantine, in captivity, as I call it. Yeah, I mean, we are starting a new month. So there's a lot of things which we have to be talking about. And it's also the very last day of leverage. Can you believe it?
it's flown past. Really exciting, though, the amount of things that we looked at that people can tap into that they already have that are going to give them an advantage when we start stepping outside again. But I think that it's worth your while. If you just joined us, by the way, it's so nice to see you. Welcome to the Toilet Paper Diaries. But you should go back through some old episodes because you missed some mega gems. Because one of the things that Ernesto and I rarely do is repeat anything, because there's so much fresh content to give you every single day. So if you're enjoying it, what you see today, and you think, well, I wonder what I've missed, go back and find out for yourself. Because I promise you, this entire week of leverage stuff, we've hardly even had time for reports from our contributors because there's so much stuff to get through, and we're already hitting an hour. So it's crazy.
Yeah, we went from 20 minutes to right now almost scratching an hour. So I definitely recommend that you go to bit.ly Toilet Paper Podcast and listen to it. I mean, we are fun to watch live. So if you want, you can also just search for the Toilet Paper Diaries in YouTube. But I mean, if you prefer to go take the dogs for a walk, just go and listen, because I honestly think that the content is absolutely fantastic. And today we have another amazing day of incredible content. And today the whole thing is about reskill, because I believe that very soon we're going to start slowly phasing out of this quarantine. Next week, we're starting a series called Renaissance, where it's a rebirth, what's going to be happening. And a lot of people, this is an interesting fact. A lot of people are forgetting where we were 50 days ago or 52 days ago.
Well, I mean, next week is going to be incredible, but I also think that the things that we've discussed in the past are all coming true. I mean, the things that we talked about, you should be watching out for, and things you should be doing at home during coronavirus. I think those are things that I've already done. So the next stage is literally where we go from here, and what you need to do to be part of that. And I think anybody who misses it at their peril, especially as, even if we do get lifted so you can go outside, a ton of people just will not do it because they know it's not safe yet. Just because you say we should do it doesn't mean you should do it. So there's lots of exciting stuff ahead. And today's show is crazy. So I can't wait to get stuck into it.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we have been incredibly accurate. I have also been, because I am the one working also on the post-production of the shows. And I've been basically looking at some of the stuff that we have been saying. And it's true. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we have been mentioning has actually happened. So we can actually have called it, as my son will say, or predicted in my language. So it's actually very interesting how it has worked out. Now, I want to start this show with remembering where we were at the beginning of the year. I mean, I have seen, possibly you have also seen, Dave, a number of different posts in social media saying, well, if 2020 will be food, what would it be? And then they're saying, well, it will be cabbage, or it will be, something that is not really liked by many people. Or they are saying, well, can we reboot 2020 because I think it has a virus, and all sorts of things that really people haven't really liked what it was. And it's not that I have liked it, but it's basically what we have received. And this is a very interesting video that done by BuzzFeed by a lady called Julie. Julie from May or from April goes visits Julie from January. And I think this will actually put into perspective what we're going to be trying to do. Have a look.
I love it.
Oh, whoa. Who are you?
I'm Julie from 4 Months in the Future.
Actually? Are you here to tell me what's going to happen?
Yeah. I mean, because of the butterfly effect, I can only really give you some loose details, but we'll go through the basics. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, do you want the good news or the bad news?
Oh, good news?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Great choice. Yeah. Cool. So, things have never been better for climate change.
No, that's great.
Dolphins in the Venice canals.
Really?
I know. Well, I mean, I saw it on Facebook. I don't know if it's a real thing. My aunt posted it, but it seems pretty legit.
Okay, well, that's incredible. Especially given the Australian wildfires.
The what? Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, those are pretty, I think those are going to be the defining feature of 2020.
Yeah, you'd think.
Oh, no?
Not even a little bit.
Really? Because they're a pretty big deal.
Yeah, your definition of a pretty big deal is going to change, for sure.
Wow. Okay, so what is the bad news then?
You are going to want to pull all your investments.
What?
Just get everything out of the stock market. Get it all out.
Oh, it's a recession.
You know what? Put a little money in Zoom.
Isn't that a conferencing app?
Yes, trust me.
Okay. While we're being proactive here, actually, if you could just do a Costco run real quick, that's gonna save you a lot of hassle. Costco. Do you
have any hobbies?
Just something to keep you busy. No, not really.
You should get a dog.
I want a dog. I want a dog. They're a lot of work, and you've got to walk. You got to go outside with them twice a day.
Right. The walks are going to be clutch.
Right, but I mean, I have to leave them because I have so much travel coming up.
Oh, no, you don't.
But yeah, I travel for work.
Oh, you won't be working.
But how do I afford stuff?
Do you take vitamins or juice?
No.
Okay, it might be a good time to just, get that body in tip-top shape. Get strong. Get those lungs a pumping. Cardio, little aerobics.
What the hell is gonna happen?
Look, I know it all sounds scary, but it's really not that bad, For you, right? I mean, for some people, it's not, but for you, it's really not bad. I would, would you rather be in a busy shopping mall or at home on the couch watching Netflix?
The couch?
Exactly. You're gonna be just fine.
Okay.
Isn't it incredible? And I love the way it finishes on the world of big cats, because the Tiger King is something that nobody expected to be one of the most fascinating subjects of all time. But it certainly dominated the early part of the lockdown. So yeah. Brilliant.
So yeah,
but isn't it true? I mean, you would never ever think the things that hit that list would just be our entire world.
Yeah. So this is exactly the fine-tuning moment on how we are actually feeling at this moment. Dave, and I think he really hit the problem on the head by talking about the Wi-Fi code. And I think for me right now, everything is defined in who is actually linked into the Wi-Fi code, who's connected into the Wi-Fi code, and who isn't. So just for you to understand exactly what the metaphor is all about, if you arrive anywhere, the first thing that you do is you take out your phone and then you want to connect to the Wi-Fi. You have to make sure that you're in the right frequency so that you understand and you will be able to know exactly what is going on, or you are actually connecting to the Wi-Fi. And this is what I am seeing really clearly. I see people that definitely do not understand what is going on still after 48 days. And they are still trying to sell stuff like if it was 2019. They are trying to promote themselves like it was 2019, 2018 and behind. And this is just wrong. So if we're going to be talking about reskilling, if we're going to be talking about rethinking, the first thing that we need to understand is what is the Wi-Fi? How are people actually feeling? Because if we don't understand their feelings, it's going to be almost impossible for us to make an impact.
Before we move on with that, let's just recap why it's wrong to start selling like that right now. The reason that it is wrong to start selling like that is you haven't worked out what people are feeling. Why sell them something when they're too scared to be able to deal with everything anyway? There are a lot of people still in paralysis, a lot of people are in denial, a lot of people have no clue what's going on and they're very scared. And you're saying, buy my stuff? You're insulting them. They're not going to buy it. You're going to feel terrible. You're going to drop your prices eventually to say, oh, well, what about bargain basements? People are still not going to buy, and you'll end up showing that you're willing to drop your price, so they won't go back to the normal price. So those are the kind of things that you've got to consider when you start going out there and sharing with everybody who you are and what you're up to. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, one of the things that, but I'm giving them big discounts, or I am doing this, or I am doing that. And one of the things that I saw a really powerful quote that says, if you cannot do kindness and expect something in return, because if not, what you're doing is business. And I understand that there is a time that we have to make money because we have to monetize. We're not Mother Teresa. But before you start doing that, you need to understand how people are feeling right now. Have a look at this video. This video was recorded before the pandemic. However, it's still valid, and I think it's more valid than any time before. Have a look.
I agree.
Today I'm feeling great.
I'm feeling very well.
I'm feeling blessed. Today, I'm feeling really good.
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Today I'm all right.
Good, man, I'm good. I'm doing all right. I'm all right.
I'm all right.
Today I'm fine.
Emotionally drained.
Stressed.
Anxious.
Saturated.
Stressed. Worried.
Angry.
Indignant.
Empty. Anxious.
Busy.
Fed up.
One of the things I love about that video, Ernesto, is this is one of the key areas that being an emotionally intelligent person really has to deal with. Just because the person in front of you is saying one thing, you've got to also be able to read what it is that's going underneath the surface, why it's like that. And there's nothing wrong with feeling terrible. There's nothing wrong with feeling bad. There's nothing wrong with feeling guilty or angry or any of those other feelings. It's what you do next with it. And the ability to have, one of the most emotionally intelligent lessons we learn at the very core of our lives is being able to cry ourselves to sleep when the baby's in the cot. Your ability to cry yourself to sleep. And if you've got a newborn baby and you pick them up every time they start crying, you're doing them a disservice, because later on, they're always going to expect somebody to pick them up when they feel terrible. If they get used to crying, going to sleep on their own, it means they're stronger humans. It's one of the most emotionally intelligent lessons that we get. So it doesn't surprise me that these things are coming back now to be things that we'd ignored or done badly, but they're most essential for us to be able to move forward in a quarantine situation.
Absolutely. We have gone through a very impactful experience. I mean, this is something that we will never forget. It is something that we're going to tell our grandchildren and great-grandchildren about it. The last time that this happened was in 1918. And of course, there's hardly anybody. Well, actually, Captain Tom managed to leave it possibly. But as a very, very small baby. So if you think about it, right now, we are faced with death. We have been faced with the fact that many people are losing their jobs. We're affected by uncertainty. There's so many different things which are there. So imagine all these things which are going up in people's heads, and here you come, buy my shit. Sorry to say it, but that's basically how it is basically sounding in their head.
I don't think actually selling shit. I think they're selling their stuff.
Well, whatever it is. I mean, you know what I mean. If you say, buy my stuff. It is
buy my stuff.
Yeah, buy my stuff. It is just something that it just sounds really bad, even if it is discounted. So now, of course, I mean, you can do good service. Like, let's say that you're a doctor and you are already getting some, like you were mentioning, like trying to help people in several things, and you're selling a service that it's required to help them in that situation. Great. But this is just not the time to start just selling like crazy. So this is what this episode is going to be about reskilling, about retooling, about rethinking, so that you know exactly how to approach a market which is wounded, how to approach a market which is in pain. And that's why we decided to actually put this together. Dave.
Yeah, so let's look at the challenges that people are facing, and let's get right down to the nuts and bolts of it, because before the pandemic hit, we had a certain world that we're facing. And now you and I have been talking about this for some time, because we train public speakers. We've been saying that you need to now be ready to face the fourth industrial revolution, which has digitization, robotics, artificial intelligence, reinvention of your business, reinvention of yourself, all those different elements. If you don't get with it, then this tsunami is going to hit you. And the tsunami might be just advertisers who are conventionally putting money into normal media like TV, radio, magazines, newspapers, who then turn around and say, it's not working for us, let's get on social media. You had to create your brand before all that happened, and then this happened. So what I want to do is share with everybody a video that allows them to see how it was before the pandemic, the things that you should have been worried about before the pandemic, because those things are just going to be as strong as they were before. But then we're going to talk about the skills you need to learn on top of the way it was then to be able to be successful in the post-pandemic world. So let's have a look at that video.
It was in these Swiss mountains that the world was first introduced to the phrase the Fourth Industrial Revolution, and it's been a hot topic among academics, politicians, and business leaders ever since. But what exactly does it mean? The term Fourth Industrial Revolution was coined by the founder of the World Economic Forum, a former professor named Klaus Schwab. Schwab wrote a book with that title to describe an era marked by a technological revolution that is blurring the lines between the physical, digital, and biological spheres. Let's break that down. Technologies like artificial intelligence, autonomous vehicles, or the Internet of Things are becoming ingrained in our day-to-day lives and even our bodies. Think of voice-activated virtual assistants, Face ID recognition, or healthcare sensors. Schwab first presented his vision of the Fourth Industrial Revolution at the World Economic Forum's annual meeting here in Davos in 2016. But to understand the idea, we need to go much further back in history, to Industrial Revolution number 1. The first Industrial Revolution started in Great Britain around 1760 and spread to Europe and North America through the early 1800s. It was powered by a major invention, the steam engine. The result? New manufacturing processes, the creation of factories, and a booming textiles industry. From the late 1800s, the Second Industrial Revolution was marked by mass production and new industries like steel, oil, and electricity. The light bulb, telephone, and internal combustion engine were a few of the major inventions of this era. The Third Industrial Revolution, sometimes known as the Digital Revolution, occurred in the second half of the 20th century. In just a few decades, we saw the invention of the semiconductor, personal computer, and the internet. So what separates the Fourth Industrial Revolution from the Third? Experts say the main difference is that technology is merging more and more with humans' lives, and that technological change is happening faster than ever. Consider this. It took 75 years for 100 million users to adopt the telephone. Instagram signed up 100 million users in just 2 years, while Pokemon Go caught that amount in 1 month. 3D printing is just one example of fast-paced technology in the fourth industrial revolution. The industry has gone from a business idea to big business, with 3D printer shipments expected to increase from just under 200,000 in 2015 to 2.4 million in 2020. Today, you can have a hip replacement from a 3D printed bone, or use a 3D printed bionic arm. Talk about blurring the line between humans and technology, right? This new era of technology is driving a lot of innovation. You can see in this chart the number of patents related to the fourth industrial revolution for things like 3D printing or AI has been climbing up and up since early 2000. Organizations are embracing new technologies to make their businesses more efficient, similar to how they embraced the steam engine during the first industrial revolution. But some companies and governments are struggling to keep up with the fast pace of technological change. Research shows innovators, investors, and shareholders benefit the most from innovation. The risk is that the fourth industrial revolution is making inequality, which is already a big issue, even worse. One study found billionaires have driven almost 80% of the 40 main breakthrough innovations over the last 40 years. That's a problem when the richest 1% of households already own nearly half of the world's wealth. Experts warn we are in a winner-takes-all economy, where high-skilled workers are rewarded with high pay and the rest of workers are left out. Studies confirm technologies like AI will eliminate some jobs and create demand for new skills that many workers don't have. Privacy concerns are another issue as the fourth industrial revolution turns every company into a tech company. Industries from food to retail to banking are going digital, and they're collecting a lot more data about their customers along the way. Users are starting to worry that companies know too much about their private digital lives. The World Economic Forum says a majority of leaders don't have confidence their organizations are ready for the changes associated with the fourth industrial revolution. With tech changing fast every day, it's time to catch up.
Fascinating, isn't it? We're looking at a number of key industries. We're also looking at the fact that the people who are inventing stuff are predominantly coming from the billionaires and their companies who own most of the world. So right now, the people are thinking about, how can I do something differently? How can I reach into that market? And unless you actually have something that's tuned into the Wi-Fi code of the way things are gonna go, then you're gonna end up just doing something that works for you, but nobody's going to pick up on it. So it's a really big challenge to not only deal with what was coming before, but also choose what is the best way to move forward with you. So I want to look at 9 job skills you need to have to be able to be effective during the post-coronavirus era. And these aren't specific to any particular idea, any particular job description. These are things that you just must have to make yourself appealing to people who may hire your services, or even better, stay in the job that you're at right now, because they'll be looking at different skill sets and you need to have these. Let's start with the first one. This is taken from Forbes magazine, if you want to review it in bigger detail. Adaptability and flexibility. So let's put this in perspective. Nobody's going to have a job for life. So therefore, you need to be ready to change your job as needs come. So you have to be flexible, ready to look at what's coming and dump stuff that doesn't work for you. Number 2, tech savviness. You need to be able to understand how tech works and create a digital transformation in yourself, in your business, and advise on that. If you can't do it, then people who can do it will get the job that you haven't got. Remember, you're not just looking at your local environment where you physically walk into an office. Barclays, amongst a number of other banks and companies, said that the 98% of their staff are working outside of the office at home. They're going to keep that going. So you're now on a job market up against everybody in the world, not just people who live in your town or can commute to the office. Number 3, creativity and innovation. You have to be able to invent, dream up, and adapt according to what people are going to need. So you got to keep that going on in your head all the time. How can I do this bigger? How can I do this better? And let people know, or even build it yourself. Number 4, data literacy. Not just your gut reaction or your gut feeling, as many people try to pretend that it's the most important thing. It's the data that tells people the details, the numbers being crunched, the interpretation of where things are going to go. because people won't know that. And that's why it taps into number 5, critical thinking. So much fake news, so many lies, so many misinterpretations of what's been going on. We've all felt it, and you can actually see how it is costing lives to certain countries because of that fact. So if everyone knew this truth from the very beginning, they could deal with it. Your ability to read the truth and to interpret it and to tell people exactly what we should do next is going to be a massive skill that people will pay for. Number 6, digital and coding skills. That was left to the geeks. The more you can do it, those little tweaks will make you in a real position. If you can't do it, then your ability to tell people what to do is going to be much easier anyway. But get those skills in, because that will be the engine and the heart of every single company. Number 7, leadership. Now, that's been something that's been bandied around the last year or so, but especially when you're working on your own or working in a group. If you're working from home, you need to be able to remotely lead people. And it won't be necessarily leading, a huge clan of people working under you. It might be a project that you say you'll take care of, and it's working with strangers, with people who are outsourced, or people working on many other projects that you have to drive because this is the one that you've recruited people for as a subcontract to another company. So you have to have those skills: communication, driving teams, understanding what fluent teams are truly all about, fluidity. Number 8, emotional intelligence, which we've talked about already in this show, your ability to know what motivates every single employee. And number 9 is your commitment to a lifetime of learning, personal development, understanding the need to look in the mirror and see yourself and say, I've got no idea what to do next, but I'll ask myself better questions and make that happen. Right now, the World Economic Forum has said that 35% of the essential jobs right now will not be relevant at all in 5 years. So unless you're moving and learning how to move and how to learn and how to connect and how to how to network and grow yourself in that direction, you will be left behind, because there'll be people cheaper, people who are better skilled, and people more available than you. So it's a bit of a warning, but at the same time, it's a massive opportunity if you're ready to take it.
Yeah, 100% correct, Dave. We're getting some really nice comments right now. We're hearing one. I think this is a big shout out for Brenda McGuire. She is saying that, well, we cannot put the whole thing there on the screen, but she said that she reached to an executive client yesterday, 0 business talk, and basically got the most appreciative email back, sharing personal things, including that they have had 7 friends in the ICU. And right now it is a time for 100% empathy. And I would like to once again say something about Brenda, because she has seen the show. She has now been watching the show all the time. She says, well, what you guys are doing is great. I want to see how I can actually implement. And I think it's just awesome. I think it's just fantastic. So well done, Brenda. We're also hearing a message from Munir Abu-Saidi, which is telling us tech skills are so important as the world becomes virtual and digital, and it's all the interactions are entertainment and work are now digital. That's right. We have Gotham all the way from Mumbai in India, which is agreeing with Brenda, and right now it's time to refocus into trying to connect with people. Thank you guys for watching, and if you're watching live, make sure to give us a comment right now so that we can give you a shout out. And if you can right now, it'd be awesome if you can share these on your pages or in different groups, because we're just about to share some absolutely brilliant information. So thanks, Dave, for your amazing contribution. Now, I think that if we think about it in genders, we are right now entering into a feminine world, and I think it's just very good. We have to be in touch with our feminine side, and this is the reason why we have covered it a number of times. We have mentioned that the countries that have feminine leaders, that have heads of state, which are women, are doing a lot better, because, of course, right now it's a time of empathy. I think we have to get into the way of thinking of empathy and a little bit more get in touch into our feminine side, and I think that's just going to be a critical skill.
So just before you say that, I think that this is going to change what people perceive as the feminine side. I don't think it would be called the feminine side anymore. I think it will just be empathy, because I mean, before it was a certain skill set that we had to be able to attribute and so on. But everyone's going to have this, otherwise they won't be able to make this work. Do you see what I mean? So I think it's going to lose its gender. Hopefully, it'll lose its gender in the near future. Sorry,
well, it's just the fact that in the past, I mean, it was actually perceived as a weakness for any male to be empathic and to be soft and to be caring. And I think right now, for me, it's the most important skill that you need to develop. I mean, if you're an unsensitive boss, sorry for that, or if you're an unsensitive employer, or if you have to be sensitive, or even unsensitive governments, because that's also something which is affecting definitely people. I mean, you're going to see right now a lot of elections being won and lost because of the way that there's empathy in people. So that applies from the very top to the very bottom of the chain. So now you have the first skill that you need to know. Now let's go a little bit into the more mental skills that are also required. And let me just share with you these questions, which I love. I mean, I normally talk about strategic innovation whenever I was doing presentations. And these are 6 questions that I always encourage companies to do. So right now that we have been in lockdown and we're going to go out, so we're going to go into a complete new world. First question that you should ask yourself is, what could we look at in a new way? That question, and write it down, because of course you're going to see, well, okay, what has changed? That's just the first question. Question number 2, what could we use in a new way? Which there's many things that are there, the technology, the way that we're interacting with people, whatever it is. Great question to ask yourself and to also ask your staff or your organization. Question number 3, what could we move into the new context? There's some things that you're going to have to leave behind because some things are just not going to work anymore. So what is the stuff that we can take from the past and bring it to the present and also to the future? The rest, leave it back there. Question number 4, what could we connect in a new way? This is an interesting thing, connecting the dots, because once again, what's going to happen, what possibly worked 3 or 4 months ago is not working right now. So we need to see what we can still connect that still works. I mean, this is, once again, as Andy Grove said, this is an inflection point. And before we can start moving forward, we have to think, whenever you get into the middle of the forest, before you actually start internalizing yourself into the forest, you need to start stop and say, well, in which direction am I going to move so that I don't get lost? Question number 5, what could we change? I think this is just an incredible piece of information that this question will be giving you, because possibly you have manuals, possibly you have SOPs, standard operating procedures, that worked before. Right now, your SOPs might have to be changed. Right now, a lot of the stuff that you're doing might have to be changed. Question number 6, what could we create that is now truly new? And this, for us, for example, with what we're doing, is a complete different reinvention. We have been mentioning this over and over, how critical reinvention is. So now you know also how mentally to start getting prepared, and how you can also get it prepared emotionally, which I think is also absolutely critical.
Very good. Very interesting.
Dave, I think it's time that we move quickly to the news, because before you know it, we are going to be running out of time. So let's just go quickly to some of the really cool news. As we were mentioning yesterday, Captain Tom had his birthday, and look at this. This is so cool. He just received 125,000 cards for his 100th birthday.
It's amazing, isn't it? And he's actually hung up his Zimmer frame. He's not going to carry on walking around the garden now to raise money, but he's managed to stop it. He's not stopped the fundraising and still continue. It's at £32,700,000 already. So the whole thing is going to continue. And well done to Captain Tom. As he was promoted, he's Colonel Tom now. But it has been known as Captain Tom. It's amazing.
Once again, it's this that you have to propel, that you know that people follow you for admiration. Look at what he's also doing. This is in inspiration. Disabled boy 6 walks 10 meters a day to raise money for the NHS after being inspired by Captain or Colonel Tom, which I think is just absolutely beautiful.
Amazing.
It's just really, really cool. And this is also something that I think it's really sweet. This is a couple in San Francisco that actually got married with pictures of all the people that they invited, and they were by themselves in the church. I think that's a really sweet thing. And this one is a little bit old, but I think it'll be very nice to actually show right now that we are on a weekend. Right now, I mean, possibly your kids are telling you, well, I would love to go into the cinema. Right now, we cannot really go into the cinema. So you can actually provide the kids with a cinema experience by getting some popcorn boxes and creating actual tickets and, playing along with the kids, which I think it's a very important skill also to have, because right now, I mean, kids are suffering the exact same thing as the adults, and
well, even more so,
it's a lot more traumatic, I believe.
Even more so, because at least we can put it into perspective. We've all lost jobs. We've all broken our hearts from relationships. We've all moved to different places and we've moved home. Kids are only going for it for the very first time and they have no control. This is a difference. They have no control over how they create this world around them. So right now they're rolling with the punches. But the knock-on effect is going to be that they will feel that the world can change without them having any input on it, and they will be scared about what happens next. I mean, we feel this ourselves, but at least we can control certain elements of it. So I think the beautiful picture you showed there of people with pop and creating a cinema at home is a precursor for the fact that many people will recreate their home to have certain rooms that do certain things, whereas before it was just a living room and that was a kitchen. I think you're going to have double jobs for every room because you'll have to have a multifunction for something that people couldn't go out and explore and enjoy. Cinema's an obvious one. Playrooms, gyms, all those kind of places are things, if you haven't got them at home, you'll have already managed to convert from now. So it's very interesting times. And real estate's taking a beating right now as people going to the big offices or renewing their leases. So maybe we'll be more made of doing more with existing houses than done before.
Yeah, this is a very nice clip that I want to show you that it's just somebody that just says, well, I want to go back and start doing what I was doing now at home. And once again, I mean, things are going to change tremendously. Have a look.
Would you like a welcome beverage?
Yeah. Thanks.
Hi, have you sat here before?
Every day.
Great. So you're familiar with the exit?
Yeah.
I just need to run through some safety points with you quite quickly. In the event that you do need to use the exit, I need you to look outside first for any dangers. Would you care for a hot towel?
What?
Would you care for a hot towel?
I guess so.
Enjoy.
Thanks.
Such as smoke, fire, water, or debris. As long as it's clear outside, you're free and good to open it. Sir? Hi.
Huh? What?
I need you to stow your laptop.
Why?
For safety. Thank you. Just move the latch to the down position and slide the exit back along its track. Do you understand what I'm asking you to do?
It's a door. It works like a door?
Great. So I do just need everything stowed away while we're here in the event that we do need to use the door quickly.
From my desk.
Everything's stowed away. Would you care for a sweet or salty snack? Sweet or salty snack? Would you care for a sweet or salty snack?
I love that you're trying to work from home, but I'm trying to watch a movie, okay? So can you just please knock it off?
Sweet or salty? Enjoy.
No. I gotta work. You go do a yoga class or something. This is getting ridiculous.
There are a total of 8 emergency exits on board. 2 window exits located mid-cabin over the wings, 2 door exits at the front, and 2 door exits at the rear. Please take a moment to find the exit closest. Il y a 2 hublots de sortie au milieu de la cabine, au-dessus des ailes, 2 portes à l'avant et 2 portes à l'arrière. Ah, sir, seatbelt sign is still on.
When do we get that?
There's someone in there, sir.
In our bathroom.
Yes, it's occupied. I'm gonna need you to wait by the counter.
We don't even live with anybody else.
Yes, over by the counter, please. I need this area clear.
It's just you and me. What the fuck?
Duty free for purchase. Would you like to purchase some duty free?
Are you literally trying to sell me my own alcohol?
So would you like to purchase some duty free?
I got that for my birthday.
Is that a no?
No!
Duty free for purchase.
Wow. Well, having traveled quite a lot and actually married a lady who used to be an air stewardess, I would never say anything about that experience. Apart from the fact, I think that everybody's going through this. Everyone's going through withdrawal symptoms in some way, shape, or form. But I think that was kind of funny the way it was all pointed out there. What are you missing most, Ernesto, from your lockdown experience?
Well, very honestly, I'm the only thing I'm missing is traveling because and yesterday I went out to a restaurant takeout because yesterday was Joan's birthday and I wanted to get, and I tell you, it just feels very weird. Once again, every time I come out, I feel like if I am in The Walking Dead, as you will say. This is also something that we found in the news, which is also absolutely crazy. So it says here, these Reuters photos of a strip club in Oregon operating as a drive-through takeaway service confirm that we have reached the neon anime sci-fi part of our future dystopia. So
you drive through to get your food, you drive through to pick up your food or order your food, and there's pole dancers who are right next to the cab as you do it. And this is so Blade Runner, this is so futuristic that I'm not surprised, but that kind of thing is just going to grow because it will pass around as a way of legitimately for the ladies making the money and for restaurants that maybe had bars going on, a way of getting people during the lockdown to spend money. So yeah, things adapt.
Yeah, absolutely. So the whole point is just showing you that this world is going to be completely different and that you need to understand and you need to tune in what is what people are requiring right now, what is what they want, how is what they're thinking, because trying to promote yourself and sell whatever you're selling in the way that you were doing it previously is not going to really work.
It's not at all.
Yeah. Any last thoughts, Dave, before we go into our very nice, beautiful video to close the show?
I think that we should investigate that whole area further with a very tasteful eye, because I think for the amount of people who are in lockdown, who are single and on their own, it's only a matter of time till a companion app comes out that you can program to male or female. It'll have the same kind of interests as Siri. It will be artificial intelligence that learns as it goes. It will have a number of algorithms set up to be your friend. And it may even have a visual side to it in front of you. That whole idea of having a friend around you is not an accident. That movie, Her, where the guy married his phone, is bonkers. But I really do think that will come out sooner rather than later, maybe even before the end of the year. If we could have, do you remember those little games that you had where you had a pet, Yamaguchi pets? Yeah. We had to feed it every single day. Why can't that just be a normal relationship? If not a normal relationship, an artificial intelligent relationship, because many people right now could require it and it might make their lives better. So that's my thoughts about watching all that stuff happen.
Yeah, I think so too. I hope that we are helping you tune in what's going on, because we are trying to, as much as possible, show stuff that nobody else will be showing you around. And we're trying to make you understand how people are actually perceiving all these pandemia and lockdown. So this is our end of Leverage. Next week, we are going to be doing Renaissance, which I think is going to be also very interesting. But this weekend, Dave, we have something very interesting. So possibly you can tell us what it is and we can request some more questions.
Absolutely. It's a Disruptors Clinic, your opportunity to ask us questions, and Ernesto and I devote the whole weekend to having our own special Q&A session. So anything that's gone on during the week, any questions you've had about anything relating to the Toilet Paper Diaries or your life or the way that the world is coping with it or how you navigate through the thick and the thin of where things are going, share that with us and we'll give you our very best spin on it. It's not a normal news show like this. It's a different format, but it's equally essential. And we find a ton of people get interactive. And we'd love to know your feedback as we go as well. There'll be surveys, there'll be opportunities for you to give your comments. And we'd love to know what you think. So meanwhile, if you want to send us any questions, feel free to drop it into our comments section here on this particular platform. And we'll add it to our questions that we're going to be addressing tomorrow and on Sunday as well. So we look forward to sharing that. It's a disruptors clinic, and it's a really interesting watch too.
Yeah. And let's just watch our last video, which I think will put everything into perspective. We'll come out and then we'll say bye-bye. Have a look.
It's interesting that the things we cherish most are the same things we walk right by. They become so intertwined in the status quo that ultimately it becomes impossible to tell them apart from our day-to-day. That is, impossible until things change. Because as it turns out, that thing we call life, it has a say. There's a saying, you never really know what you have until it's gone. And sometimes it takes the most abrasive of reminders, the harshest of times, to help us recapture that perspective, to lift us up and show us what we had previously failed to see. And while our darkest moments test our strength, they push our boundaries, even transform our reality, they can also be the bridge that leads us exactly where we need to be. They remind us that sometimes it's not about how we spend our time, but who we spend it with. That quiet brings clarity, and the world can spin so fast that we forget to think about our place within it. It reminds us how humanity is bigger than the sum of its parts. And it takes just as much energy to build up as it does to tear down. It reminds us that no matter where we live, what we speak, or who we pray to, we're not so different after all. It reminds us that there is so much more good in this world than evil, so much more love than hate, and so much promise for tomorrow. Someday we'll look back on this moment with the lessons we've learned, the hardships we've faced, and we will be reminded of the miracle that is the human spirit, unwavering in its resolve, unbreakable at its foundation, stronger than we could ever comprehend. See, sometimes it's hard to look around and find a reason to be optimistic, to understand or comprehend why. But what we'll find is that if we look hard enough, immersed in the uncertainty, the disruption, and in some cases, the tragedy, there's something to be gained. A tiny candle flickering in the night that will eventually grow to light our way. Because that road to tomorrow is paved with hope. There are pages unwritten, stories untold, and a new chapter to begin.
Beautiful. 43 days in, 43 episodes, 44 tomorrow, and we're still here with you. Toilet Paper Diaries. Love it. Take care, Ernesto. Take care, everybody.
Thank you very much. This has been Leverage in the Toilet Paper Diaries. See you next week. for Renaissance.
Call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come